I had the privilege of sharing the following podcast several weeks ago with one of my granddaughters who graduated from college with the dream of becoming a teacher. Now, as I'm retiring, after 41 years as a professor in the field of education, Michaela now has been asked to become an elementary teacher, teaching first grade students this fall. She has enthusiastically accepted. I am thrilled for her. She will begin her teaching career in a matter of days. Congratulations, Michaela. Michaela, I'd like to share the following quote with you. Your classroom may have 4 walls, but your influence has no boundaries. I know you will make an incredible difference in the lives of your students. Share with them the saying you have made on one of your classroom walls already. Believe in your dreams. Teach them up. Your dream is coming true. Stroke, stroke, kick, kick. This is Dr. Kyle Rarey. This is a special occasion that I have the opportunity to interview one of my granddaughters who is going to be a teacher. And it's special in the sense that I'm concluding my years as a teacher. And then I look to you and I see that you are in the beginning of going to be a teacher. And so I think that the group would like to hear a little bit of your perspective as you look towards being a teacher for your first year. And my question would be, first, when and how did you decide to be a teacher?
So I always felt sort of drawing to teaching, but it wasn't until my junior year of college that I really started to pursue it. So at that point I was at my junior year.
Where at?
At the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Yes.
I continued to feel a calling to teaching, so I looked more into what educational path I could go down since I'd already completed 2 years or a little over 2 years of courses. So I looked into the state of Louisiana's education guidelines and realized that if I had a bachelor's degree, I could do an alternate teacher preparation program in order to be a teacher and get fully certified.
So do you have a degree, a bachelor's degree?
A bachelor's degree in general studies, and I'm working on my teaching certification in grades 1st through 5th right now.
Okay. And was there certain teachers that you had that you felt like that was something that you wanted to do, to be like them?
Yes, so I vividly remember my 2nd grade teacher, who ended up being my 3rd grade teacher as well. She was just always so caring and sweet, to where I've remembered her all throughout upper elementary, middle school, high school, and now college. Just remembering that she was always so motivational and kind to all of the students. She had a lot of patience, and it stuck with me.
Do you remember, for an example of where on a day that she was your teacher, that she did something that you felt like that was very meaningful?
I think that, I always noticed when some of my friends or classmates were having a rough day, or I knew, we had a student who was in foster home and she would struggle in school. And I think just watching how my teacher was with her, with the patience and just extra kindness, she knew that she needed a little bit more kindness to get through her schoolwork and, be able to perform. So I think just kind of watching how she handled that and seeing that, what that extra little bit of kindness did for that student, and even at a young age, being able to see that has stuck with me, and I hope to be the same way.
And have you had when I went through school to get certified to be a teacher, I had to do a student teaching. Have you done something like a student teaching there in Louisiana?
Since my path to education hasn't been traditional in the sense that I wasn't an education major, it has been a little different. So I have not student taught, but I decided to substitute teach so that I was able to get experience in the classroom and kind of get a feel for which grades I preferred. So I've substitute taught grades kindergarten through 4th grade. And that gave me, good experience in the classroom, hands-on experience, teaching lessons and just interacting with the students.
What did you like? Can you recall that you prepared something for your students and the lights lit up, so to speak? Their eyes?
I think just going in the morning and trying to make their lessons fun. A lot of times the teacher would, leave a lesson and say, if you want to teach this, you can. If you want to put them on the computers, you can do that. I'd always choose to teach the lesson because I liked interacting with them and I thought it was fun teaching phonics.
Phonics?
Phonics for second grade, and going through the PowerPoint and seeing how excited they got whenever it clicked and the sounds and all of that. And then, when I would go back to the same school, the kids would light up and run up and give me hugs in the hallways and ask, oh, are you going to come to our class today? So that was really encouraging and just kind of made me feel reassurance that, I'm on the right path and that this is what I'm meant to be doing.
So second grade, you're looking at that position that would allow you to be a second grade teacher.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've accepted a position as a second grade English language arts teacher.
Language arts.
Language arts.
What else is besides phonics? What else your lesson plans would be there?
So in second grade, I'll be focused on English and language arts, which I'm excited about because that's known as a time period, first and second grade, when students develop their literacy skills. So I think seeing and teaching them how to read, we'll do timed reading tests, and I've seen substituting that they get excited, when they hit a certain amount of words and things start to flow, they don't have to pause as much, and it kind of clicks to where they enjoy reading, and then they can start reading more books that they're interested in on their own. So I think I'm excited to be able to teach them the pronunciation on words and then watch them sound it out and then be able to start being more fluent readers.
In your class, you think you might have close to 20 students in your classroom?
So. I was told that it would be somewhere between 18 and 22, so I'm thinking around 20.
And in your experience so far, that there'd be different levels of a student in their abilities to read. How do if you have 18 to 22 students in the classroom, how do you help individual students to be more proficient in their studies?
That's something that I'm definitely going to have to get in the groove of once I'm in the classroom and kind of see what works best for me and the students that I have in my class. I think one thing that I'll utilize is small groups so that I can kind of group them by level and know where I need to work to try to catch everyone up so that everyone's on the same level and ready for third grade.
So one group you'll be working with, and what would the others be doing? Do you have assignments for those groups then?
In substituting, I've seen that centers work really well, doing centers with the students. So I would probably do reading fluency tests and time them and see where they're at and how they're doing. And then while I'm doing that, I'd have other students reading accelerated reader books, and then maybe some doing a writing assignment, so that we continue to switch and I have time with each student so I can kind of see where each student's at versus just, teaching to the classroom as a whole and not actually getting that one-on-one with each one to see how they're doing, what they need from me.
How do students get how do they pass? Do they have tests, or does the Louisiana have certain tests that you expect the students will have to pass?
They do. The big state tests don't start until third grade, but kindergarten through second grade take a DIBELS test, and that tests their reading fluency and then their math skills. So whether or not they pass on to third grade is not based solely on those scores. It also has to do with the grades that they've received throughout the year. At the beginning of the year, they'll take the DIBELS test, so at the end of the year, we'll kind of see how much growth they've had and the improvements. And if there's a child who hasn't had as much growth and we think may benefit from an extra year in second grade, that'd probably be the deciding factor.
Will you have other responsibilities as a teacher there besides teaching sort of one-on-one or that class? I mean, are you going to be a coach for some group, or you have?
So in the school that I'm going to be in, because they're so young, I don't think that they don't have sports groups yet or really clubs necessarily.
Yes.
So I won't with that.
Yeah. And do they have recesses still?
They do. And since there's a longer school day, now that it's a 4-day week, they have 2 recess breaks to kind of get all their energy out and have some time to play and take a break from curriculum.
When does the student need to come to the school? What time in the morning?
I think they start arriving around 7:20 in the morning, and then we leave around 3:45 in the afternoon. So it can be a long day, especially on the ones that are younger, which is why they try to give those buffer breaks throughout the day.
What did you learn, book learning versus going out and being sort of a student teacher? What can you kind of verbalize on that? What the difference you felt like?
So I feel like I really benefited from having the hands-on experience substitute teaching. I was very nervous my first day, but the more and more I went, the more I wanted to go and pick up more days so that I could experience it more. I really enjoy being around the children. So in college, I would take some adolescent psychology classes, developmental psychology. I took a library education class. But I feel like I've really benefited from being inside the classroom and getting that hands-on experience, just because there's so many kids from different walks of life. And I think the more I interact with kids from different walks of life, the more I know how to be prepared for the next time. So I think that substitute teaching has been really great for me and has prepared me for having my own classroom and my own students.
So now that you have been trained in terms of how to teach, and you've had some exposure through student teaching, how do you look forward in terms of what would your dream be down the road?
So I think I've thought about this a lot, and I think that my dream as a teacher is not only to be an effective teacher to where you can see, on paper, big improvements with the students from beginning when they come to me until the end when I'm sending them to the next grade. So I think not only being an effective teacher, but I want to be the kind of teacher that also helps build on curiosity, confidence, character, not just curriculum. I just want to help them with their overall development. So I look forward to that. And seeing children grow that I've taught, I'm really excited to see the impact that I may make on them.
So what is it like when a student comes up to you and say, "Are you going to be my teacher? Or are you going to teach me today?" What?
I'll give them a hug and I'll say, "Well, not today, but if I see an opening pop up, I'll take it. Maybe I can come by and visit." So I'll visit, and then every now and then I'll get to see them at lunch because there's different grades. So I'll be able to say hi and chit-chat for a few minutes, but it definitely makes me excited to have my own classroom when I see how the other students, while I'm substituting, respond to me.
I think you're going to be a wonderful teacher. It reminds me in terms of how you feel about going into this profession. It's such an important profession. Mm-hmm. And more so, I think, in terms of the lower levels of schooling, the students come in and you have the opportunity to, I call it the 5 I's. You're going to instruct, mm-hmm. You're going to invest a lot of time.
Yes, for sure.
You're going to instill wanting them to how to learn, and you're going to inspire your students. And in all that, you're going to impact the lives of your students. And I am so proud of who you are and your desire to make a difference in the education of children.
Thank you.
So I wish you well in your investments.
I appreciate it, and I'm thankful that I have such an amazing educator to look up to and ask questions to. So I'm very excited, and I appreciate your willingness to talk with me about teaching and your experience so that I can kind of learn from that as well.